Hi everyone. So this video is electric charge and electric field part 4. So in this part, let us discuss about the topic force on a particular point charge due to multiple point charges. Force on a particular point charge due to multiple point charges. So this can be determined by using principle of superposition. So first here let us consider a point charge plus Q1 and near the group of point charges. So that is Q2, Q3, Q4 and so on up to Qn. So force acting on plus Q1 due to plus Q2, that is F12 vector, F12 vector, that is repulsive force. Force acting on plus Q1 due to plus Q2, that is F12 vector. It is directed from Q2 to Q1. So the unit vector is R21 cap. R21 cap is a unit vector, indicates direction of F12 vector, that is from Q2 to Q1. The distance from Q1 to Q2, let us consider, that is R21. So in the same manner, the force acting on plus Q1 due to plus Q3. So that is F13 vector. So it is directed from Q3 to Q1. Coulomb force is always acts along the line joining the 2 point charges, but this is repulsive. So this is R31 cap, that directed from Q3 to Q1. The distance from Q1 to Q3 is R31. And the force acting on plus Q1 due to plus Qn. So that is F1n vector. F1n vector means force acting on plus Q1 due to plus Qn. The distance from Q1 to Qn is Rn1. Direction is Rn1 cap. It is directed from Qn to Q1 direction. So according to Coulomb's inverse square law, the magnitude of force of attraction or repulsion between 2 point charges at rest is directly proportional to product of magnitude of 2 point charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. So according to the principle of superposition here first, according to the principle of superposition. So when number of charges are interacting, so actually this is a statement of principle of superposition. When number of charges are interacting, the resultant force on one particular point charge due to group of point charges. When number of charges are interacting, the resultant force acting on one particular point charge due to group of point charges, that is equal to the vector sum of forces, vector sum of forces produced by individual point charges. Vector sum of forces produced by individual point charges. But while calculating one particular force, so we just ignore the presence of other point charges. So for example, now force acting on plus Q1 due to plus Q2, F12 vector ಇದನ್ನ find out ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ Q1 Q2 ಮಾತ್ರ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ F12 ಇದನ್ನ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಕೂಲಂಬ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಲಾ ಇನ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. So listen to me carefully once again, the statement of principle of superposition. The number of charges are interacting, the resultant force on one particular point charge due to group of point charges or multiple point charges or system of point charges, that is given by the vector sum of forces produced by individual point charges. While calculating one force, just ignore the presence of other point charges. Okay, let us start the derivation. So F vector is equal to F12 vector. ಇದನ್ನ find out ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ coulombs inverse square law in vector form ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So magnitude of force acting on plus Q1 due to plus Q2, that is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by distance from Q1 to Q2, that is R21 square into direction by using unit vector, that is R21 cap. So in the same manner, the force acting on plus Q1 due to plus Q3, that is also repulsive, that is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q3 divided by R31 square into R31 cap plus so on. So up to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught F1n vector is Q1 Qn, this is nth charge, divided by distance from nth charge to particular point charge, that is Rn1 square into Rn1 cap. Okay, so F vector is equal to, so ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ common term ಏನಿದೆ, that is taken as outside. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ common ಇರೋದು Q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Actually this is common, let's take it as outside. The remaining is Q2 divided by R21 square plus Q3 divided by R31 square plus so on up to Qn divided by Rn1 square. So into here R21 cap into R31 cap, here Rn1 cap. Okay, and then ಈ complete term ಏನಿದೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು summation apply ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So F vector is equal to Q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught summation of I is equal to 2 to n Qi divided by Ri1 square into Ri1 cap. So finally, this is the final mathematical expression. This is very, very important. F vector is equal to Q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught summation of I is equal to 2 to n Qi divided by Ri1 square into Ri1 cap. So this is the mathematical expression for the force acting on one particular point charge due to the multiple point charges or group of point charges or system of point charges that can be determined by using principle of superposition. According to the principle of superposition, the force acting on one particular point charge due to multiple point charges that is given by the vector sum of forces produced by the individual point charges. While calculating one force, just ignore the presence of other point charges. Okay, thank you.